On a warm May night in 2008, a college student named Brandon Swanson drove home from a small celebration marking the end of his semester. At 19 years old, he was cheerful, ambitious, and planning for the future. But just after midnight, Brandon's car veered into a ditch along a lonely rural road in Minnesota. He called his parents for help, and for nearly an hour, they stayed on the phone as he tried to guide them to his location. His voice was calm, his words steady, and then, suddenly, he cried out, followed by silence. Brandon Swanson was never seen again. What happened that night remains one of America's most haunting mysteries. Brandon Swanson grew up in Marshall, Minnesota, a small town surrounded by farmland, rivers, and endless stretches of gravel roads. Friends and family described him as smart, friendly, and responsible. On May 13, 2008, Brandon finished his final day of classes at Minnesota West Community and Technical College in Canby. That evening, he joined friends for a small get-together to celebrate the semester's end. Nothing unusual, nothing alarming, just a teenager enjoying the last days of spring before summer break. A little after midnight, Brandon said his goodbyes and started the 30-mile drive home. He wasn't intoxicated, according to friends, though he may have had a drink earlier in the night. As he drove through the rural backroads, Brandon accidentally steered off the gravel and into a ditch. The car wasn't badly damaged, but it was stuck. At 1:54 a.m., he pulled out his phone and called his parents. On the other end of the line, Brandon's father, Brian, answered. Brandon explained where he thought he was, near the town of Lind. He assured his father he was unhurt but needed a ride. His parents got into their pickup truck and drove to where they thought Brandon was waiting. But when they arrived, there was no sign of him. Brandon insisted he could see lights in the distance, possibly his hometown. His parents couldn't see him. For the next 47 minutes, Brandon stayed on the phone, calmly describing his surroundings as he walked along the road. At 2:30 a.m., Brandon was still walking, still talking. He described passing fences, gravel, and what he believed were nearby lights. Then, without warning, his voice changed. Brandon said, "Oh shit," and the line went dead. His parents tried calling back, again and again, but there was no answer. That was the last time anyone heard from Brandon Swanson. When daylight came, police began searching. They quickly found Brandon's car, not near Lind, but near Taunton, almost 25 miles away from where he thought he was. His disorientation made sense. The area was a maze of gravel roads, fields, and rivers. But around his car, there were no footprints, no signs of a struggle. It was as if he simply vanished after leaving it behind. Theories poured in. Some believed Brandon fell into the nearby Yellow Medicine River. After all, he had been walking near waterways that night. Search dogs tracked his scent to the riverbank, but divers found nothing. Not a body, not clothing, not a single trace. Others believed Brandon may have walked for miles after that point, collapsing somewhere in the fields. But with hundreds of volunteers, helicopters, and dogs combing the area, nothing was ever recovered. Could it be foul play? Or had something more unexplainable happened? Reconstructing Brandon's final moments is chilling. His voice was calm for nearly an hour, and his words showed no sign of panic, until the very end. That sudden outburst, the startled, "Oh," the asterisk leaves a haunting question. What did Brandon see in that moment? Was it an animal? A misstep near the river? Or something else entirely? His last words echo through the years, a frozen clue in a case with no resolution. Out of tragedy, however, came change. In 2009, Minnesota passed Brandon's law, requiring immediate police response when adults go missing under suspicious circumstances. Before this, law enforcement often delayed, assuming young adults left voluntarily. Brandon's disappearance proved how quickly things can turn deadly and how every second matters. For Brandon's parents, every year since 2008 has been a cycle of hope and heartbreak. They have organized searches, worked with law enforcement, and pleaded for new leads. But their son's fate remains unknown. His body has never been found. His voice, captured in that last chilling phone call, is all they have left. The disappearance of Brandon Swanson is a story of silence, of a teenager who walked into the night and never came back. His parents still wait for answers. And every May, as the anniversary passes, the haunting mystery deepens. How does someone vanish on the phone with their father, in the middle of nowhere, leaving nothing behind but two words, "Oh, shit"?